In just a few hours, a former volunteer cheerleading coach from Palm Beach County will face her second court hearing. She's accused of having a romantic relationship with an underage student.
Cassidy Saltaire from Boynton Beach High was first arrested back in February.
We want to get over to our Danny Travis live at the Palm Beach County Courthouse this morning with what we can expect. Danny, good morning.
Good morning, Sam and Steph. Yeah, junior varsity cheer coach Cassidy Saltaire will be back in court this morning, but for a status check virtually. Now, she was accused earlier this year of having a romantic connection to a 14-year-old. And according to the arrest report, that student got sexually explicit content on her phone from Saltaire and went with her mother to the Boynton Beach Police Department in February to report it. The victim and her mother then gave police access to her cell phone and Instagram account and later got her to go to a specific location. Saltaire was arrested on multiple charges, and police said she admitted she had a romantic connection with the victim and knew the victim's age was only 14-year-old. And her second hearing is set to start this morning at 8:30, like we just mentioned. Live in downtown West Palm Beach, Danny Travis, CBS 12 News.
5:05 right now, and for the past 6 months, the CBS 12 News I-Team has been talking with insiders and child rights advocates about Florida's Department of Children and Families. A viewer asked us to investigate cases when kids are taken out of their parents' care and struggle their way through the system, often enduring abuse and begging to be sent back home.
Yeah, last Monday in the first story of this series, the I-Team profiled a family caught up in the domestic violence. In this case, the abuser used DCF intervention as a weapon to get revenge for being thrown in jail. Now you'll hear from a young man who learned when a family gives over a child willingly, it is not easy to get them back.
And her story has an ending you'll want to stick around for. Here's I-Team Chief Investigator Mike Magnoli.
Alexia Nichavev has few pictures from her childhood. On the wall, these were taken before the accident, before life changed forever, before Florida's Department of Children and Families came into the picture.
I wanted to go anywhere, like even jail would have been better than that for me.
9-year-old Alexia was living in Wellington when her mom and stepfather were badly injured in a car accident.
My mom just spiraled.
As Alexia tells it, mom became addicted to pain medication. Then her stepdad overdosed on the pills and died. Then mom, grief-stricken and struggling with her addiction, couldn't care for the girls, so the two grandmothers stepped in. But Alexia wouldn't talk. She wouldn't eat. Finally, her grandmother, overwhelmed and frustrated, asked Florida's Department of Children and Families to take care of her. Alexia was immediately sent to a so-called safe house, then placed in a group home in Orlando. And she says she was sexually assaulted multiple times while in the system.
It just felt like I was being thrown around to anybody without any type of background check or any type of attention to what was going on behind those doors of where they were placing me.
In the years that followed, Alexia says the cruelty and abuse were common. Her grandmother told DCF she wanted to take Alexia back, but it wasn't that simple.
It's too late. She's already in care. You already said that. And like, if you want to take her back out of care, you have to go through the court proceedings.
Alexia says grandma, who emigrated from Haiti, struggled with language and cultural barriers, and she couldn't manage to get her granddaughter back. Alexia remained a ward of the state until she turned 18.
This can happen to anyone. Like, there's not a certain type of person that this happens to. Like, you don't have to look a certain type of way.
According to the National Coalition for Child Protection Reform, Alexia's story is not unique. Florida's DCF often removes children from homes where the coalition argues addiction services and counseling might have kept the family intact.
It happens all the time. It happens all the time across the country. We know that because the rate of removal in Florida is higher than states that have outstanding, relatively speaking, records of child safety and don't tear apart as many families. Even when the issue is substance use, drug treatment for the parent is almost always a better option than foster care for the child because the trauma of removal is so great.
DCF responded to our questions with this table showing a downward trend in removal, which the department says is at a 19-year low. And the department says only 6% of children in Florida foster care are placed in a group home, compared to the 10% national average. Now, in spite of all of her challenges, Alexia graduated from FIU with a bachelor's degree in psychology. Today, believe it or not, she works for DCF in a program called Hope Florida, whose purpose is to help young adults who are aging out of the system land on their feet. That might include job placement, higher education, counseling, or other therapy to deal with childhood trauma in or out of state care. Alexia's goal, she says, to change the system from within.
I'm a hope navigator, to be that voice for people who are voiceless.
And you know, the one thing that Alexia says could have changed the whole course of her life was if DCF had asked her what was going on before they took her away from her grandmother. For the I-Team, I'm Mike Magnoli, CBS 12 News.